Welcome to the Italian Wine Podcast. This episode is brought to you by Vinitaly International Academy, announcing the 24th of our Italian Wine Ambassador courses to be held in London, Austria, and Hong Kong from the 27th to the 29th of July. Are you up for the challenge of this demanding course? Do you want to be the next Italian Wine Ambassador? Learn more and apply now at vinitalyinternational.com.
Welcome to this special Italian Wine Podcast broadcast. This episode is a recording off Clubhouse, the popular drop-in audio chat. This Clubhouse session was taken from the Wine Business Club and Italian Wine Club. Listen in as wine lovers and experts alike engage in some great conversation on a range of topics in wine. If you enjoy listening, please consider donating through ItalianWinePodcast.com. Any amount helps cover equipment, production, and publication costs. And remember to subscribe and rate our show wherever you tune in.
Hello, everybody. My name's Stevie Kim, and this is the Italian Wine Club. Welcome back, everyone. 6 p.m. Thursday. That's when we have our Italian Wine Club on Clubhouse. And today, in theory, we should have our Natalia Fabrizzi doing the fireside chat with Lisa Endrici today. I see Lisa. Ciao, Lisa.
Ciao, Stevie. Ciao, tutti. Thanks for having me tonight.
Sure. I hope your moderator will show up soon.
I'm positive.
Of course, I always have many questions for everybody. You know, Lisa, I actually have a house near you.
No way.
Yeah, we have a house in Andalo.
Oh.
So, I mean, not near you, but in the neighborhood. But I haven't been in the longest time, so I should come and see you next time.
Next time, definitely.
Yeah.
Stop by with pleasure.
Yeah. So I'm actually coming back just from a tasting that Gabriele Gorelli had invited me to. Of course, he's the new master of wine. Yeah. Everyone wants a piece of him, so he's absolute like Prezzemolo. He's absolutely everywhere. So today he held a master class with Chateau Figeac, and it was really lovely to also meet Blandine de Brie Manoncourt. I hope I'm saying her name right. So that episode should be coming up. It was just an impromptu interview for the podcast and Mama Jumbo Shrimp. So that would be coming up soon as well. Leica, so tell us what we're doing now. What episode is this?
Actually, this is the 40th episode, so we've gone this far. And
my goodness, that's crazy, right?
Yes, it is.
Have you been doing this from the get-go?
Yeah. Well, what do you mean?
Did you do the first episode? I can't remember.
Yes. We started first. Yes, it was with Cynthia.
Yeah, it was with Cynthia. That's right, with Alberto Tasca. We've come a very long way. As you know, these recordings are replayed on Italian Wine Podcast, and the Ambassador's Corner has been very popular. One of the top listens are, in fact, Ambassador's Corner. By the way, in April, I just want to thank everyone. I think we are the number one wine podcast now because we've had 224,000 listens just in the month of April for SoundCloud. And of course, that's not counting all of the other channels. So you know what I'm going to do until Natalia shows up,
She's actually here in the room right now.
Oh, she is? Where is she? I don't see her.
Hello, everybody. Can you hear me?
Yes. How are you connecting? Where are you physically?
Oh, right now I'm in Piedmont. I'm in Gavi, where I currently live.
I don't see you, though, on stage. That is strange. Okay, well, Natalia, thank you for joining us. I don't see you. Do you see
Yeah,
her?
I see Natalia on stage, as well as Lisa, Joy, and
okay, maybe. Oh, now I see her.
Okay.
Oh, okay, now I see her.
I think it's a bug in the Clubhouse.
Yeah, I just had to refresh. Well, thank you for joining us. Good thing you decided to show up. As you know, Ambassador Corner is where our ambassadors from the VIA community, they get to choose their favorite Italian wine producer, and they kind of do the deep dive, more like a fireside chat style. And it's been crazy popular. So today we have Natalia Fabrizzi. She sounds Italian. She is actually a Brazilian traveler winemaker, it says on your bio. What does that mean?
Well, thank you very much for the invitation. It's a pleasure. So I graduated in winemaking in Brazil a few
Whereabouts in Brazil?
In São Paulo.
Oh, in São Paulo, okay.
Yes, it's a countryside São Paulo, a small wine region, and with some experimental projects with wine. And it was a great opportunity to starting the wine world. And when I finished my studies, then I had the opportunity to go to California in Napa Valley to do my first internship in a winery. And then traveler winemaker, because since then it's what I was doing. So traveling around the world, I've been to a few countries and doing harvest time, working in the lab or in the production or in the vineyards, everything related. And yes, now I'm working in the business side of the of wine. So
so you mean the commercial side?
Exactly.
And what are you doing now?
So I'm the expert manager for two wineries here in Piedmont. It's two wineries owned by the same family. One it's in Barolo and the other one here in Gavi.
What's the name of the family?
The Rossi Cairo family.
Okay.
In Gavi, the winery is La Raya. It's an organic biodynamic winery. And in Barolo, it's in Serra Lunga d'Alba, Tenuta Cuco.
Okay. So today, but you've chosen Endrici. So why did you decide in the end to do the call with Lisa Maria Endrici?
Yes, Lisa, first of all, it's a really good friend of mine. And she's the new generation of one of the most traditional families in Trentino, in wine families. I've been to the winery a few times, and I really think it's impeccable in every sense. Starting with the wines, really beautiful architecture. They have so many innovative projects. So it's one of the reasons I chose them. And today we'll be talking about some native grapes from Trentino, and also the history of her family.
So I guess one of the things that we'll be learning from this call, as we call it, the learning objectives, are indeed some of the grapes, right? What are the learning objectives precisely from this call?
Okay, so we'll be talking about Trento DOC, Teroldigo. Also, Lisa will explain us about the Teroldigo revolution. Enotourism, they are really referencing enotourism. They have great hospitality structure, and also geographic aspects of Piano Rotaliana.
Oh, excellent. And by the way, how and when did you discover Cantina Endrizzi?
I discovered Cantina Endrizzi because I met, it was in a work dinner. I met the husband of Lisa. He used to work for my distributor in Germany.
Aha.
He spoke about the winery, and not later after that, I went to visit, and then I fall in love with the place.
Okay, great. All right, so I'm going to pass the mic over to you, Natalia, and I will come back to see if there are any questions in the end. Okay?
Okay, sounds great. Thank you.
Okay. Ciao, ciao.
Ciao. Ciao, Lisa. Welcome to the Italian Wine Ambassador Corner.
Ciao, Nachi.
How
ciao,
are
ciao.
you?
I'm great. Thanks so much for inviting me.
I'm very excited to have you on board. So for just a small introduction about Lisa, she's half German and half Italian, and she's the fifth generation of the Endrici family. Big responsibility, Lisa.
Yeah, it is. It's a big responsibility, but also a privilege. I think you have to be conscious of both things. We have 4 generations to look back and to make proud, but also, interpret it as you are and what you want to make out of it. I think that's something really nice about the wine world.
Yes. So I would like to start with the origins of your family winery. Will you tell us how everything started?
Sure. I wasn't there, unfortunately, as we said before, because the winery is quite old. It dates back to 1885, where, the two founders, Angelo and Francesco Endrici, came down from the Valle di Non. So I don't know if all of you know exactly where Trentino is. Trentino, we are in the northern part of Italy. We're quite close to the Dolomites, and we are a very mountainous region. So we have many valleys. And let's say the main city is Trento. So back in the time, the two founders decided to make their luck, start from Valle di Non, which now is famous for the apples, and went by foot, of course. They wanted to go to Trento. During their travels, though, they found a nice girl called Giovanna in San Michele al Adige, where the Endrizi winery is today. And they decided to stay there. And the two brothers, together with the brother of Giovanna, created the Cantina Endrizi in 1885. Back there, we were under the Austro-Hungarian Empire. So it used to be all different. We were, the southern part of the empire, and we used to sell all the wine to the north. And after World War I, we became the most northern region, of Italy. And we entered a market which was full of wine. So that's something very inspirational for me, that our ancestors had to change this perspective. But still, also nowadays in my family, we concentrate a lot on export. So I would say this is one of our USPs.
Right. And which markets are the most important for Endrizi right now?
Well, actually, since I would say 2-3 years ago, Germany was the biggest market. As you also said before, my mom is German. So we not only speak the language, we also understand the mentality, which is also very important if you want to embrace, a business relationship. It helps always. I would say till 2-3 years ago, Germany was the biggest market. It was around 40% of our market. But in the last years, we changed also all our selling structure in Italy, and we are focusing a lot on Italy right now. So I would say Italy is just above 40%, and Germany is now maybe a 30%. This is also thanks to Trento Doc. I think we will talk about Trento Doc later. Yeah, but in total, we are in 24 countries. But I would say that Europe is our most important market.
Fantastic. And after 4 generations of wine producing, do you remember when was the moment when you felt like the wine business was your lifetime project? Do you feel pressure from the family to take over of the family business, or that came very naturally for you?
That's a great question, because many people ask me how it worked, because as also Stevie said before, it's a great responsibility, or you said it before, to continue with this family project. And I think my parents were very smart. They never obliged us to do something, to do the vineyard work, to do come to Vinitaly Provine, etc. So they always let us the choice, even if they sold us all the winery very intelligently. You know, they always showed us the nice parts and what you can do with with a family winery. And so we never had the pressure that we had to choose it, but we wanted to choose it. And for me, I started drinking wine really late. I think I was like 21. And that was a point where I said, okay, I have to start drinking wine. Otherwise, we cannot go on like this. And I did my first studies and my first bachelor in Milano. I studied marketing and PR, which is very useful for my job today. And then I was living in Milano, and there I understood that I was missing, let's say, all the rural part of making wine and the nature. And it was the same time when my brother finished his high school. And so we said, why don't we do something really with wine? So we decided together to go to Geisenheim University. Some of you, I'm sure, know it. And we went together to study international wine business, where I also met my husband, which is why we know each other. So,
Yeah, that's so cool. Yeah, it's I think it's very important that they let it happen very naturally.
exactly, because as sorry, I forgot. If you run a family winery or a winery in general, you have many aspects. It's not all only the winemaking. You have, of course, the vineyards. That's clear. But then you have, the banks. You have the strategic decisions to make. The communication, the hospitality. You have architects coming in because you have some projects we will discuss also later. So, and if you love art, music, you can organize events, and that's something that my mom really. Told me from the beginning that you can, in the end, make something beautiful for yourself.
Yes, I met your parents and they are really inspiring. And your mom, she's an architect. I know that she designed the wine cellar, which is absolutely beautiful. She was also the pioneer on deciding to acquire Serpaia in Tuscany because you is the second winery of the family, right? So will you tell us about the Serpaia project?
Yeah, with pleasure. As you said, my mom was an architect, my dad was a lawyer, and it's a nice combination. My mom is German, my dad is Italian, and we say our slogan is Italian organization and German creativity, which I don't think that you can find very often. Normally, it's the other way around, but that's really how our family goes. And so my dad is the organized one, my mom is a creative one, and when she came to Italy 33 years ago, she came from the area of Stuttgart, which is quite a flat and hilly area. She came to Trentino with all these high mountains, and she likes it. But one day she said to my dad, I really miss sunsets. So this is one thing we don't have in Trentino. That's why all Trentino people run up on the mountains to see the sunsets, because normally the sun just goes away behind the mountain. Yeah. So in the end of the 1990s, they said, okay, let's start to look maybe for new projects, new lands. And in the year 2000, they acquired 20 hectares close to Fonteblanda, which is close to Talamone under Grosseto, so in the Maremma area. And they decided, to have a foot also there. And it was really to enlarge their horizon. And that's something I really appreciate about my parents, that they always taught us to look outside of the box. We have been in Trentino for 140 years now, and they really wanted to embrace something new, a new challenge, because it's a different land, different people, different grape varieties. So in Serpaia, now we have the typical, let's say, varieties like Sangiovese, then we have Cabernet, Merlot. We started planting very typical grapes for that area, like Cilieggiolo. a couple of years ago. And my husband actually is down in Sapaya right now. So he entered our company during the pandemic. So that was a nice opportunity for all of us, since he also studied as an enologue, and he's now, let's say, following the Serpaya project in firsthand. So he's down there, let's say, 1 week per month at least, to follow all the vineyards and the wine production.
Yeah, and he's very excited about it. I went
So
to visit
excited.
him last harvest. I was really close to the winery, so I stopped by and he made me taste the ferments of Ciliegiolo.
Mm-hmm.
Really fantastic.
Yeah, so cool. Yeah, I remember.
I saw the winery in Trentino. It's producing 25 different wines, divided in five different lines. So there's the Trento Doc, the Linea Classica, Linea d'Alis, and Linea Masseto. How many grape varieties, native grape varieties, are grown in the state? And would you comment one of them, and how you see the importance of cultivating autochthonous grapes for the cultural patrimony of Italy?
Yeah, so you say it correctly. I think Italy, we all agree, is one of the countries with the most autochthonous grape varieties. In Trentino, we have some. And you have seen we have 25 different wines. We are quite creative because we also have we have many different DOCs in Trentino. Maybe I can talk about something we'll talk also about later, maybe the Giardino dei Profumi, which is a special piece of vineyard that we created, where we planted 22 different rows of grape varieties, which are typical for our region. And in front of the row, we planted the aromas that then you can find in the wine. Of course, wine tasting is very subjective. So for me, there's never a wrong or a right in the aromas that you can find. But let's say there are some main aromas, let's say for Sauvignon Blanc, that you can represent. So that's something nice where we can see really the aromas that you can find in the wine. And I tell you this because these 22 varieties are typical for Trentino, which is a lot if you think about it.
It's brilliant, the idea of the Giardino dei Profumi, the perfume garden.
Yeah. And we, for ourselves, we have 13 of these grape varieties, which we use in our wines. Some wines are, let's say, created from the older generation, so 5 generations ago. Some wines, like the d'Alis line, are the newer ones. They carry the name of my brother and me, Daniele and Lisa. So we like to embrace, let's say, the autochthonous grapes, but make them also ours. We have a line which is called Classica, where it's always 100% one grape variety, and where we, let's say, vinify in the most classical way. The most important autochthonous grape for us is for sure Teroldego. We are really in front of the Piana Rotagliana. Piana Rotagliana are 400 hectares in the center, let's say, of the Valle dell'Adige. It's perfectly located north-south. And we are some producers who cultivate Teroldego. Teroldego, maybe not all of you know about this grape variety. The name is quite unique. There are many different theories where the name comes from. The theory that we prefer is the one that it comes from German Tiroler Gold. So the gold from Tyrol. As I told you before, we used to be under the Austro-Hungarian Empire. We used to speak German. And our ancestors used to say that it was the gold from the region, so the best what the region can offer. And we still agree, even today, we have many different red wines with Teroldego in it. I would say most of our red wines have Teroldego in them. And then we have also 2 rosés done of Teroldego. The Teroldego grape is an interesting grape, and also the wine. For me, it's very modern. It's a wine which is very dark. It is low in tannins. It has a good acidity. and it makes quite modern wines. And it's also great for aging. Like our top wine, it's called Gran Masetto. It is 100% Teroldego, which is made out of 50% of dried grapes, which we dry in the cold, like in big refrigerated rooms, to concentrate the aromas that Teroldego already has. So we are not adding a marmalade touch, thanks to this drying in the cold. Mm-hmm. And I think this makes this wine very interesting also for aging. That's a wine where we keep from the first vintage, 2003, we keep all the vintages in the cellar. So if somebody's interested also in buying, matured vintages, we have them on our price list, which I think is a very interesting point to have also this more mature wines on the list, because it's always a safety point for who buys the wine if they know that the wine has been stored in a cellar with the right temperature and everything. So Teroldego for us is really very important. And then we have Nosiola. Nosiola is a white grape with a light skin. The grapes are almost green. And Nosiola comes from the Trentino Noseleta. Noseleta is the hazelnut. So some say that Nosiola can sometimes taste like hazelnuts, like Nutella. We have Nosiola only in one wine, in Dalis Bianco. It gives a floral touch, so we like to incorporate it in our blends. So I would say these are the two main autochthonous grapes we have in our region. Then of course we have Marzemino, Groppello, but that's in different areas of Trentino, so it's not for Endrici.
Right. I think it's fantastic that you offer this tailored service to the clients, keeping the old vintage.
Yeah.
And, this is very important. That's very interesting.
Mm-hmm. It's a lot of stock also, it's very expensive for us, but I think it's worth it. If you work towards quality, I think that every winery should consider at least only of the top wine to keep the vintages aside and to make nice vertical tastings. And when you will come to visit us with Stevie, we will do a nice Gran Masetto tasting of all vintages.
Italian Wine Podcast, part of the Mama Jumbo Shrimp family.
It's one of my favorite wines of yours.
Oh,
Gran Masetto and the Trento Doc Piancastello. I can't wait to crack a bottle next time we see each other.
Absolutely.
So I wanted to ask you about the collaboration that Endrici has with the San Michele Adige Institute. Mm-hmm. When did you start this collaboration, and how it's how the students are collaborating within the winery? I know you receive interns every year, so how does that work?
Yeah, so that's something which is very nice, that we have this geographical, let's say, closeness with the Istituto di San Michele all'Adige. So it's in the town, and we are 2 kilometers out of the village. So we are really close. And I think the cooperation goes back a couple of decades, because I know my dad, my grandpa started working with them. I don't know if maybe also in the generations before there were collaborations. But it's really nice to have these couple of hundred research people who do research so close to us. So we rely on them for different things. First of all, we were among the first in Trentino, together with the Istituto di San Michele, to try out the sexual confusion method in the vineyards, which helps us to avoid all kind of insecticides and pesticides and work in a really clean way. And as you also said, we have a good relationship with all the professors. We have interns every year, 2 or 3. to show how we work. And they also come to check the Giardino dei Profumi, because you don't find it often to have 22, varieties which are planted so close, one next to the other, to analyze how is the maturing of the grapes going, how are the plants growing, like the different stages, because of course you can see that some grapes or some plants are the leaves are coming out earlier than others. So they come every week to check and to make their analysis on what they see. And I think that's a richness that we have, and that we love to share, because we're all in for making research to always get better, and to be close to nature as much as we can.
Yes, you are an eco-sustainable winery, and what do you do to minimize the environmental impact?
Yeah, that's a good question, and I think the real conscious embracing the environment was when my parents built the cellar, the new cellar, at the beginning of the year 2000. And they decided to build it under the earth for, of course, several reasons. I think since my mom is an architect, they also like the idea to have nature continue, not just put a building there to disturb nature, a bit like, Mies van der Rohe, who used to build his buildings a bit higher to allow nature to continue to grow underneath.
Like complementing in a way.
Sorry?
Like complementing in a way.
Yes. To keep, this, to let the space for nature to just keep on doing its thing. So to take as few quantity from them as we can. So on the new winery, there is the Giardino dei Profumi, actually. So that's a positive thing of having a building underneath the earth. So for let's say a landscapey reason, for a natural reason, of course, if you have the cellar under the earth, we take advantage of the free fall of the grapes. We have no crushing. We don't use pipes before the pressing, and then we have always the same temperature underneath the earth. Then what we have, of course, solar panels, to get the energy. We have the other roofs of newer buildings that we built are also green. So also there we want to keep the ecosystem going. In the vineyards, as I mentioned before, we use the sexual confusion, which I think all of you are familiar with since we are all in the wine industry, but very easily explained. We use these pheromones so that the insects cannot reproduce themselves, because it all, let's say, smells like female. And then we put 20 nests for birds per hectare, and these birds eat the poor insects who are looking for their partner. And we didn't stop there. We also added nests for bats, so they do their job during the night. So we have a 24-hour terrorism, let's say, against the insects. We have been doing this for more than 20 years. As I said before, we started with the Istituto di San Michele, and I would say nowadays in Trentino everybody uses this kind of method in the vineyard, because it's really effective. And to keep on going this, let's say, natural way in the vineyards, in the cellar, when my parents built the cellar, they really wanted to have the highest technology to keep our wines clean. We are a fan of, let's say, overall the white wine, which are very clean. We are in a northern region. We want to show how Trentino is. Let's say the whites are very mineral, very fresh. So we installed a machine which splits the air into oxygen and nitrogen. We keep the nitrogen to protect the most from oxidation. So if you imagine like an apple, you cut it in two, it gets brown very fast. The same happens with most. So we want to avoid an oxidation. So we cover it with nitrogen to avoid, let's say, the contact with the air. And this permits us to add much less sulfides in the end in the bottle. And To, some people are a bit have some problems with sulfite, so we often say you can drink one bottle of white Endrici without getting a headache. So that's also quite interesting, because again, that's thanks to technology where we can stay as clean as possible. And as you know, my brother and I, we went to the Waldorf school, and also with where you are right now, you're quite familiar with all the Rudolf Steiner
Yes.
ideology.
There's the Waldorf school here.
Exactly.
It's a fantastic way of education. I think it's so cool that you grow up in this with this mindset, this kind of education.
Yeah, I think it's a very holistic way to see things. So where you are responsible about what you do. So my brother and I, we went to the elementary and middle school here in Trento at the Waldorf School. So I think that's something very important, really, to respect the nature and respect the cycle.
Exactly. Yeah, giving back to the nature.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So Endrizi is among the founders of the Trento Doc back in the 80s, right?
Yes.
Which was the first vintage of Trento Doc that Endrizi produced. And there is, I see there is also an exponential market demand for Trento Doc. You've been telling me as well that you're expanding the production of Trento
Yes.
Doc. How many bottles are you producing right now?
Yeah, so the Trento Doc topic is something which is really close to our heart, because, as you mentioned, my parents were among the founders of the Istituto Trento Doc back in 1984, and we are quite proud to have been among the few ones who believed in this project since the very beginning. Back then, it was like a handful of producers, and nowadays I think we reached 60 wineries who are part of this group. And we're quite happy, because I think Trento Doc is a very valuable product, and the more we are, the merrier it is. Of course, keeping, let's say, the quality objective in mind. I think all the project of Trento Doc and Sparkling was born thanks to one vineyard we have, which is called Pian Castello. Pian Castello is a vineyard which is close to Castello di Monreale, which you may see if you pass at the highway here and you look to one side. You can see the Castello, and there you will always also see our vineyard. It's an interesting vineyard because it's a clos, so it's surrounded by the woods. It's entirely dedicated at the Trento Doc Pian Castello project, and we don't have neighbors. That's really good, because we know the work we do in the vineyard is entirely thought for that vineyard, and it's not the wind is bringing nothing from neighbors. And my parents started, as I said, in the 80s. So even before the Istituto Trento Doc was born, actually before Trento Doc, there was also a project which was called Talento, which tried to unify the different Metodo Classico producers around Italy. Unfortunately, it was a project which didn't start. So around the year 84, the Trento Doc Institute was born, with, of course, the rules which we all have to follow, like what are the grape varieties, of course, Chardonnay, Pinot Nero, Meunier, and Pinot Bianco. At least you have to have staying on the lease, let's say a maturation on the lease for 15 months. If you want to write Riserva on it, it has to be 36. So, of course, there are different rules. And, of course, the higher you go with Trento Doc, the better it is, because all sparklings benefit from the difference night and day, the exchange in temperature. And our Pian Castello vineyard is around at 400 meters height. So that's a perfect place to grow Trento Doc. And I don't deny that in the last years, we have seen an exponential growth in demand for Trento Doc in Italy. I'm saying Italy because it's just in the last years where we see, let's say, a higher interest from Germany, from other countries. But it's also nice to know, that it's one region, one nation that is really interested about one kind of product. So to give you numbers, this year we sold 100,000 bottles of Trento Doc. But since we organized ourselves in advance, because we hoped that the project would, launch this nicely, we are looking for an increase for next year of 30%. So around 130,000 bottles, and who knows, the years which are to come. So we really have to brace ourselves for this Trento Doc moment. And I think, mostly my parents are so happy because they started, this project, hoped it to be this interesting, and I think we are there now. And in general, I think Metodo Classico is a very interesting wine for nowadays. It tells a story, no bottle is the same one to the other. So I think it's quite interesting.
Yeah, definitely. And you have also some old vintages of Trento Doc in the winery.
We do. Not so much as Gran Masetto for the moment, but we're starting to keep them aside. But that's even more difficult because the demand is so high, and to say, okay, now we stop. We are starting to do it. Mostly we have one product which is called Masetto Privé, which we leave 10 years on the lease. That was a wine, a spumante, which we used to drink for our family. That's why it's called Privé. And a couple of years ago, we decided to be social and share it with friends and family. And currently it's a vintage 2010. And we have also there the older vintages and also our Piancastello range. We have now 3 Piancastello, which come from this specific vineyard. We have a Brut, we have a Rosé, and a Padosé. And then we have one Classico, which is called Endrici Brut, which is, the more lighter one, the green apple notes, a bit less of the brioche, and all the more, let's say, aromas which are more evolved. We leave them for the more, of course, Riserva ones. But we arrived, at 5 products, and we're quite happy.
Yeah, I am more happy that you decided to share the Masetto. And I'm sure everybody here listening as well. So tasting a Trento Doc 10 years on the list, it's something very rare and unique.
Yeah, I think the aromas really change. And in our Masetto Privé, I admire the freshness that you still can find. And also it has this apricot-y tone, which is incredible. And if some of you get the chance to taste a Masetto Privé, please let us know what you think about it.
Okay, so I wanted to ask you about the Teroldego revolution as well.
Mm-hmm.
It's a group of wineries participating, right?
Yeah, it's a Teroldego Evolution. It's a group. We are 9 young producers from the Piana Rotaliana. And we decided, I think now it was 4 years ago, to unite and to make Teroldego great again. This was one of our first slogans. But the aim really is to get together, speak about Teroldego, go to wine fairs, make degustations. Why not go abroad and talk about this grape variety? Because I think Teroldego started as a wine which you drank, every day at lunch, quite a light product. And in the last years, people have been seeing the potential of Teroldego. And as I said also before, it's a great wine you can keep for many years. And that's something really nice that I think we have with this group. We're not only colleagues, but we became friends. And that's something that my parents always say, that it wasn't like this before. It's always hard to get together. And I think we really managed that to create a bond among us and to have one goal, and to bring Teroldego to its highest quality and to talk about Teroldigo whenever we can. So it's a bit of a revolution, but I like to think about it as an evolution also. So it's a bit of this a game, of words. And we're actually we're organizing right now a great party here on a mountain in June, to celebrate also, being back together, being outside, and where we invite, all our friends and people from the wine world. So
so I'll be waiting for the invitation.
Exactly. Absolutely. Yeah, it's a cool, barbecue, and really something, easy.
Yeah.
And actually, I forgot, but this weekend, so starting from Saturday, we have the Teroldigo Days in Trentino. So who of you may be not too far from here, you can look for Teroldigo in the Piana Rotaliana. There are many master classes. We're having one with Teroldigo Evolution on Sunday evening, and you can have a walk among the wineries in the Piana Rotaliana and taste all the Teroldeghi from the area. So I think also our region is pushing a lot this variety as being, the most important autochthonous grape from our region. So there's quite of nice things to attend to.
And it's in the winery where you'll be receiving people for the Teroldigo tasting.
Also, so our winery is always open, and during this weekend we will talk specifically a lot about Teroldigo. But the main events are more central in the Piana Rotaliana, so we will be hosted by another winery, and there will be like an evening on Saturday night. There will be like a tasting area at Palazzo Martini, which is, let's say, the main point for Teroldigo. It's really in Mezzo Corona, so in the heart of the Piana Rotaliana, and people can go there and taste all Teroldeghi. And I think it's a nice occasion.
Oh, that's very cool. And I'm sure you say it's easygoing events, but when Endrici events it's involved, it's always very well organized and beautiful events. I know Endrici it's very strong in the enoturism. It's a strong skill of the family, and I've been to one of your events, the Pergola event last summer with live music. It was absolutely amazing. And would you like to share with us a bit about the Endrizi events and maybe how many people you have collaborating for this project, the weddings that you host in the winery?
Yeah, with pleasure. I think that the topic of enoturism is very important for wineries. I think it's always a pity if a winery, shuts their doors and does everything by themselves, not wanting to show what they do. I think it's a richness we have, and that we should invite people to see, because what we have experienced during the years, that if people come to visit you, you will have a spot in their hearts, because you will do everything possible to make a memory for them, to create an emotion. So that's something that we started 15 years ago. My parents started with hosting weddings. So we have a nice room, which is the old bottaya. So you can get married among the old barrels. I did the same, so I can only suggest it. And so that's something we do during the summer, every Saturday, and some of the Sundays also. Here, I have to say, thanks to the pandemic, we had the time and the head to rethink a bit our hospitality. So we came out of let's say, a business relationship with partners in our wine shop. And since the weddings were not happening during the pandemic and everything, we had the time, to reevaluate everything. So we decided to change this relationship, to go from 2 people to 4 people, 5 in the summer, who are now co-workers of Endrizi and are there from 10 to 19 to 7 p.m. every day, of the year. to welcome our guests. So we really changed from, closing during the lunchtime and everything to being open all the time. And that also changed in our offer. So now we are also offering, taglieri, charcuterie boards, or now we're doing like small plates in combination with the wine. And it took us, some time to rearrange a bit our offer, but keeping in mind who we are. And you were talking about the Open Pergola event, which was, it's one of my favorite events during summertime. It was the first event we did, let's say, after the first lockdown. So it was June 2020. And we were, how do you say, so many people came. It was like 120 registrations. It was, of course, all on registration only. And it was not a social distance, but it was like a natural distance. We decided to put small tables between the vines to create the distance. We gave everybody, the wooden box, the classical wooden box of 6 wines, where we put inside, like a gourmet picnic and a bottle of wine. And people could go among the vines and have a nice day. And then we have, of course, the music and the atmosphere. So
so special.
Yeah, you've been there, and I'm happy you saw it, because now that we have the weddings, it's a bit more difficult to organize, to conciliate the two things. But I hope that this summer we will have another one. But what we do now, every day, it's tastings. If you go on our website, endrici.it, you find different tastings for, every need, different tours. Also, we develop the tours. You can have a tour, with our analog, which is very specific. You can have a walking tour on your own. So we like to be diverse and to show what our nice region has to offer. So we have a new space now, which is called Veranda, which hosts smaller groups in the winery. So I think all the enoturism is very important, and not to forget the Giardino dei Profumi. Of course, it's something that every visitor who comes to visit keeps in mind, because you can really touch and smell the aromas of a grape.
Yes, that's really fantastic. It's one of the most special, well organized, beautiful events, picnics under the vines that I've ever been in a while.
Thank you. Thank you.
I would like just to the last question, since we are also about to run out of time. If there is any new projects that you would like to share with us.
Yeah. So, as we said before, the Trento Dock project is for sure one of our biggest projects right now, and we may or may not be looking at new land over the Lago di Garda, which is very high. It's around 700 meters, and where we would love to plant some more Pinot Nero. So that's a great project we're working on now. We are deciding to grow our winery this year. So we are working on a new cellar to store Trento Dock, because if you imagine, our Trento Docks go from 2 years on the lease to 10 years on the lease. We have to have a stock, like a huge stock, and we need space for that. So we are, let's say, growing in that direction, and I think that's a very positive thing if a winery is growing and looking to the future.
Of course, yes. I think that was really great. I am so happy that you accepted my invitation to participate
Thank you so much.
Clubhouse. And I will leave it open to see if anybody wants to make a question.
Thank you so much for that. I was getting so thirsty while I was just listening, and hungry, and the barbecue, coming up barbecue. I'm getting so excited. I definitely will have to tap you when I go to pass by San Michele d'Adige. Okay, so
absolutely.
There's now the tunnel, actually. I don't even have to go all the way to San Michele. That's why I don't think of you. because now it's from Trento Nord. You can go directly to Paganella. Yep. So it's great for us, but then we miss out on all the winery tours. Laika, I'm gonna bring back on Laika.
Hi,
Hi,
Stevie.
Laika. You want to tell us what's gonna happen for next week?
Okay, for next week, I am still waiting for confirmation for the ambassadors.
Oh wait, I have something. I have something for that too. Hold on.
Wait, I don't hear.
Yeah, so that's for next week. We're still. I hadn't used that button yet, the suspense button. But so we're still
It's
waiting.
so cringy,
So keep posted, you guys. Thank you so much, Lisa. I'm gonna close up the room, Lisa, and I hope to see you very, very soon. How was Italy for you?
It was great. It was great seeing everybody, being back among the people, and we had a great interest from. It was a quality public, so that was great. Yeah,
fantastic.
That's and thanks to you guys, and you always taste our wines also. So thanks also for that.
Okay, great. Natalia.
Thank you very much.
Ciao, Natalia. I hope to see you soon.
Yeah, me too. Thank you.
Okay, thank you so much. And you guys keep in tune.
Thanks for listening to this episode of Italian Wine Podcast, brought to you by Vinitaly Academy, home of the gold standard of Italian wine education. Do you want to be the next ambassador? Apply online at vinitalyinternational.com for courses in London, Austria, and Hong Kong, the 27th to the 29th of July. Remember to subscribe and like Italian Wine Podcast, and catch us on SoundCloud, Spotify, and wherever you get your pods. You can also find our entire back catalog of episodes at ItalianWinePodcast.com.
Hi guys, I'm Joy Livingston and I am the producer of the Italian Wine Podcast. Thank you for listening. We are the only wine podcast that has been doing a daily show since the pandemic began. This is a labor of love and we are committed to bringing you free content every day. Of course, this takes time and effort, not to mention the cost of equipment, production, and editing. We would be grateful for your donations, suggestions, requests, and ideas. For more information on how to get in touch, go to ItalianWinePodcast.com.